Hello everyone, it's FNHusa57 here again. We're back with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and I have another elite weapon for you guys to take a look at. This is the review of the SAC3, and this one is the Pain and Suffering. Pretty cool name. It's the elite variant of the normal SAC3, which is the fully automatic akimboed submachine gun. Now, this weapon already has the best-in-class fire rate, and it's really cool because it's a akimboed weapon. So, we'll be talking about the Pain and Suffering, which is the elite variant. This weapon has 3 positives and 3 negatives to it, as far as upgrades for it being an elite. And the 3 positives are all stacked in 1, which is a +3 to accuracy, giving it a total of 6 accuracy, which is really good for an akimboed weapon like this. However, it has 2 pretty major drawbacks. 2 of the negatives are to damage, which reduces it to only 5 damage, and 1 negative to range, which reduces it to 6 range. So it takes quite a few shots to kill. Now, being that this is a akimboed weapon, I like to run with it with just the laser sight on, and then I like to have a lot of the perks because, again, this is more of a run and gun weapon. Now, I like to play hardcore, and this is actually my second favorite submachine gun for hardcore. And we'll take this to the firing range, let you see it. Now, the weapon has a really cool camo on it. As you can see here, it's got that flower pattern engraved on the gold camo. There are 2 things. The attachment, the laser, only shows up on your right-hand weapon, which is a little bit strange. I would think that there would be a laser on both weapons, but oh well. And your player emblem only shows up on the right-hand weapon. Now, with that being said, I have used this submachine gun in both core and hardcore. I don't really like it in core because you have to get too close to somebody, and the fact that people can regenerate health means that most likely you're going to lose to an assault rifle or any non-akimboed submachine gun. In hardcore, you can get a lot closer to people. As you can see, that's why I also use the stun grenade on this class, and I use cloak so I can get in really close to somebody without them noticing me, like in a building or on a flag. So we're going to fire this weapon basically in a burst, and it takes at least, well, now these targets represent the amount of damage that a player would take to kill in core, not hardcore, but it's about at least 5 shots to 7 shots, depending on the range and where you hit a target, which it's very hard to get precise headshots with this weapon system, especially at a distance. So it can take quite a few bullets to kill somebody. In hardcore, it takes about 3 to 4 bullets, depending upon the range, and I do not use a suppressor on this weapon because that brings it to about 5 to 6 bullets for a kill, because it lowers the range of the weapon. Now, the interesting thing about this weapon is the right-hand weapon, even fired in a burst, seems to be a little bit less accurate than the left-hand weapon, which is very weird. The left-hand weapon fired in a burst seems to shoot to the very center of your crosshairs, whereas the right-hand weapon wants to shoot to the low right, which is odd. That's fired independently. If you fire both weapons at the same time, for some reason, they are more accurate. I have no idea why, but they are. Probably because they wanted to avoid the whole thing that people used to do with akimboed weapons in the other Call of Duties, where they would start firing one weapon, get the magazine about halfway empty, start firing the other weapon, and basically, here, let me give you an example again. So you'd start firing one weapon, get that magazine down about halfway, then start firing the next weapon, and basically you can have a constant wall of fire. And until you run out of ammunition, which I use scavenger, so at least you'll have a decent amount of ammo. But this way you could keep a whole, basically, stream of lead going down range and lock down an area. Kind of useful at certain times for, you know, core, but in hardcore, since you've got weapons like the BAL and the H-bar that only take 2 bullets to kill you, it can be a very difficult weapon to use. I do like it as a submachine gun because I like to defend flags and things like that, and it's very good at that. So here's an example of accuracy at, you know, the distance. This target is set at 15 meters, and that's a pretty good distance that you're going to engage at, especially with a submachine gun, and being that most of my games are hardcore. So I fired 50 rounds, hip fire, relatively slow in bursts, and got 35 hits. Not bad. That's a 70% accuracy, which is pretty darn good for akimboed weapons. Now, same distance, 15 meters, just hold down the triggers and unload the magazines. Still, actually, surprisingly, more accurate than burst fire. Fired 32 shots and got 32 hits, which is a little bit weird, but hey, sometimes it works better, sometimes it doesn't. Now, most of the time in hardcore, when I play like domination, I find I'm engaging targets only about 10 meters away. And in that case, these weapons are even more accurate. They have a really good fire rate, really good damage, and high accuracy. The bad thing is, if you run up against a opponent that is down a hallway, or, you know, at the other end of a building or something like that, this target's 27 meters away, you will see that even burst firing the weapons or holding the weapons down, just emptying the magazines, your hit percentage is extremely low. Less than half of my shots hit. If I was up against somebody in hardcore, I would have definitely been dead by now. So that is why I do like to use the stun grenade, because like before I go into a flag, I'll stun them, and then you generally get somebody that's like advancing on you. If somebody's advancing on you, you'll definitely win. Now, with these submachine guns, the problem is, say somebody starts at about 10 meters away and they're running away from you to get away, you're going to lose again because your hit percentage is going to be so low. So hopefully this video gave you an idea for whether or not you want to keep this weapon or you want to use this weapon. It's not my favorite submachine gun, but it is my second favorite. So it is a pretty good submachine gun, and hopefully you guys like it. Remember to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos.